The woman who had introduced herself as the father's ex-girlfriend now stood in front of him, her hands shaking but her voice steady. "You've been lying to everyone for years. You thought you could keep hiding your daughter and your past, but you can't anymore. Your secrets are out." The mother, who had remained silent, now stood tall, her voice breaking through the tension. "This is the truth, and you can't cover it up anymore. You've manipulated us all for too long. It ends today." But just as it seemed like the father was about to crack, something even more unexpected happened. The little girl, still clutching her bunny, stepped forward again. She looked up at her mother and then at the judge, her voice firm and clear. "Mommy, there's one more thing." Everyone in the room turned to her, eyes wide with confusion and fear. The girl took a deep breath before speaking, her words sending a chill down everyone's spine. "I'm not just telling the truth about Daddy. I'm telling the truth about the other girl, too. She's my sister, and she's not the only secret." Gasps rippled through the courtroom. The mother's face went pale as she turned to the girl. "What do you mean?" The little girl's gaze never wavered. "I've known about her for a long time, and I know where she is. I'm not scared anymore. I can help find her." The father, now on the brink of losing everything, looked as if he had been struck by lightning. His face twisted in horror. No, you don't know what you're talking about." But the girl was adamant. "I do know, and I'm going to tell everyone where she is." The courtroom fell silent again, the gravity of her words settling over everyone. The father's facade was shattered completely now. His lies, his manipulation, and his darkest secrets had all come crashing down in an instant. As the judge called for further investigation into the new revelation, it was clear that the truth was only just beginning to surface. What had started as a simple family dispute had turned into something much darker. And as the room slowly emptied, everyone was left to wonder, what other secrets had been hidden for so long, waiting to be uncovered? The girl's final words echoed in the air, a haunting reminder that no secret stays buried forever. In the weeks that followed, the investigation into the father's secrets revealed even more than anyone had imagined. Authorities were able to locate the other child the little girl had mentioned, and it turned out that she had been living in foster care, hidden away by the father in an attempt to keep his past covered. The truth came out, and with it, the father's long-standing manipulation was exposed to the world. He was arrested, facing charges far worse than anyone had initially believed. For the mother, the truth was painful, but it also freed her from the constant fear she had carried for years. She was finally able to look at her daughter with pride, knowing that her bravery had not only exposed the lies, but also brought justice to the hidden children in their lives. As the family began to heal, they found strength in the truth. The little girl, once so scared to speak out, had become the voice that shattered the darkness. Imagine walking into your own store, expecting great service, only to be ignored by your own employees. That's exactly what happened to the CEO of a popular retail chain when he went undercover as a regular customer. Dressed in casual clothes, he walked in, eager to see how his team treated everyday shoppers. But what he didn't expect was the cold shoulder from one particular employee. No greeting, no assistance, just a dismissive attitude that left him stunned. At first, he thought it might be a misunderstanding. Maybe they were busy. Maybe they didn't recognize him. But as he watched how they treated other customers, it became clear. This wasn't just an off day. It was a real problem. And what he discovered next changed everything. Was this just one bad employee, or was there a deeper issue in his company? Stay tuned, because what happens next will shock you. The CEO decided to test the employee further. He walked up to the counter, pretending to need help finding a product. "Excuse me," he said, keeping his voice polite. The employee barely glanced up, sighing as if he was an inconvenience. "It's over there," they muttered, vaguely waving toward an aisle before returning to their phone. No eye contact, no effort, nothing. This wasn't just bad service, it was a red flag. If this was how they treated a regular customer, how many others had walked away frustrated? The CEO had spent years building this company, believing in great service and customer care. But standing there, unrecognized in his own store, he realized something was very wrong. He took a step back, watching how the employee interacted with others. The pattern was the same: indifference, impatience, and an unwillingness to help. But why? Was it just this one worker, or was there a bigger problem hidden beneath the surface? The CEO decided to observe for a little longer. As customers came and went, he noticed a pattern. Some employees were friendly and helpful, but others seemed disengaged, like they were just waiting for their shift to end. The worker who had brushed him off was the worst offender. They ignored questions, sighed when asked for help, and even rolled their eyes at an elderly customer struggling to find an item. Something wasn't adding up. Was this just laziness, or was there something deeper at play? The CEO approached another employee, a young woman who was busy restocking shelves. Unlike the first worker, she greeted him with a smile. When he casually asked if the store was a good place to work, her expression faltered. She hesitated, glancing toward the dismissive employee before lowering her voice. "It depends who you ask," she said. "Some people love it here, others not so much." The CEO's curiosity grew. What was really going on behind the scenes? The CEO's mind raced as he processed the young woman's words. He needed to know more. "Why do some people dislike working here?" he asked, keeping his tone casual. She hesitated again, then shrugged. "It depends who's in charge," she admitted. "Some managers are great, but others, well, they play favorites." She glanced at the rude employee, who was now chatting and laughing with a few coworkers while ignoring a customer waiting at the register. A sinking feeling hit the CEO. Could it be that certain employees were getting away with bad behavior because management let them? He decided to test this theory. Spotting the store manager near the back, he walked over and asked for help. Unlike the first employee, the manager was polite, at least at first. But when he casually mentioned the unhelpful worker, the manager's face stiffened. "They do their job," he said quickly. "We don't have complaints." The CEO wasn't convinced. Something was off, and he was about to find out exactly what. The CEO studied the manager's reaction carefully. There was something in his tone, too defensive, too quick to dismiss the issue. If no one had complained, was it because customers weren't given the chance? Or was there pressure to stay silent? Determined to dig deeper, he lingered around the store, listening. That's when he overheard a conversation near the break room door. The rude employee was laughing with a coworker. "Don't worry about it," they said. "The manager's got our backs. As long as we keep numbers up, we can do whatever we want." The words hit the CEO like a punch. So that was it. Certain employees, the ones who were underperforming and treating customers poorly, were being protected. But why? And how far did it go? The courtroom was silent until a small voice shattered the tension. "Daddy is lying." Gasps rippled through the room as all eyes turned to the little girl standing beside her mother. The judge, a stern-looking man in his 60s, adjusted his glasses and leaned forward. "What did you say?" he asked, his voice calm but firm. The girl, no older than 8, clutched her stuffed bunny and took a deep breath. "He's lying," she repeated, her voice shaking but determined. Her father, a well-dressed man sitting across the room, stiffened in his seat. His lawyer whispered something in his ear, but he didn't respond. The mother, eyes filled with worry, reached for her daughter's hand. "What do you mean, sweetheart?" The judge pressed gently. The little girl hesitated, then looked straight at her father. What she revealed next left everyone in the courtroom completely stunned. The room fell even quieter as everyone waited for the girl